Macedonia did a 50. I was thinking, thanks for video by Lawns Boys post. So, I suppose it's not 100% as I did originally. It was, what was my favourite top 10 Megadrive games, or slash Genesis if you're American? It was a tough video to do. And I made it tough for myself because I picked exclusive only characters. I only picked games that was originally only for the system. So, thought a lot of games I did like Castle of Illusion and Zero Wing and stuff was not allowed because those on other systems, and well, Zero Wing was a part of an arcade game. So anyway, so number 10. McDonald's Treasureland Adventure. Now, a lot of people are probably going to mock this game because, well, it's a game where you play as Ronald McDonald. There's actually not much McDonald's really in the game, just some of the logos are like McDonald's logos, and yeah, it's not what you'd consider a very McDonald's-y game. There's a few of the characters from it, but yeah, a good platform game by Treasure. It probably has the least like flashy effects as their games on the system, but still got good music and nice graphics. It's a nice, fun and easy-ish game. It's pretty easy to get through. Definitely worth playing if you can. Deserves more credit than it gets, really. Right. Oh no, that's the number 9. It's Rocket Knight Adventures. Featuring Sparks now. Yeah, it's nice and European cover is happy and not angry like in the Genesis one. Even though it's the same box art. Yeah. He had a angry Kirby syndrome. Yeah, Rocket Knight Adventure. It's just a Mega Drive exclusive, this one. The sequel, Sparkster, was not a Mega Drive exclusive. It had a Mega Drive and a Super Nintendo version. So those both entirely different games. Yeah. Then we had a third one just called Rocket Knight on the 360, PS3 and PC years later. Yeah, love this game. Pretty difficult game though, I must say that. I still think this is the best one in the series. I think they got the second one had a bit too many complicated, confusing mechanics. Kind of bogged it down a bit. And the third one, well, obviously made a long time after these ones. They decided didn't understand the game because it really lacked like all the crazy boss fights and all that. And it was like 4 levels long, which seemed really short since these were about 8 or 9 each. Yeah, Rocket Knight Adventures, good game, pretty difficult. I must say that. Right, so number 8, it's Probotector. Yeah, this is the European version of Contra Hard Corps. Yeah, in Europe, this was the last European game where we edited the characters to be robots. Well, I left one enemy in the game still a person on a bike, so they left one enemy unedited. Weirdly enough, I know it says the English text at the bottom of it. Yeah, so anyway. At least they actually screenshots of the European version on the back, unlike the actual advertisements when they showed this game. When the American versions, you could tell because those human being sprites. Oops. But yeah, Probotector. This game is, well, it's great. It's actually I'd say it's one of the best games in the series. It's definitely got the most content in the series because there's about 4 or 5 different endings to this game. Yeah, and each one has its own unique bosses, so there's lots of different ways to go through this game. I can only ever do one ending though. Now the secret ending in level 3. It's not very hard to do. You just walk up a wall before you get to the actual boss room and you teleport to a new area, you fight 3 bosses and then get a silly ending. It's pretty easy to do. But yeah, the biggest infamous thing about this game is Konami altered the game. The Japanese version of this game, you get 3 hits per life, but in the other versions you only get 1. Oh yeah, and the European version, I believe, also took out all the cheats, apart from the hidden ending, so no 30 life code, no level select anymore, so yeah, I've never seen very many endings of this game. So if you really do want to play this game, I'd recommend playing the Japanese version of the game, just because it's a bit easier. all the enemies take the same amount of hits, but being able to take 3 hits in this game makes this game so much more playable. I never actually got past level 4 properly in this, where you get to fight this guy, this giant like tank who goes up this like really long pattern, which is like one of the longest boss fights in the game. Yeah, this is a really good game. It's got some really impressive graphics for the system, and definitely pushed the system to its limits and got lots of action. Good game, definitely worth playing. Oh yeah, definitely play the Japanese version. Oh look, it's Kanamai again. I don't have an actual cartridge version of this, but this is Castlevania The New Generation. Yeah, the box calls it Castlevania. Now this is the European version, which was censored. Yeah, they cut some of the gore out, changed one of the zombie colour enemies and other pointless stuff. Just like the other console version, this was a Megadrive exclusive, so never. I don't think it's ever been re-released. But yeah, there's 2 different characters in this game. For Eric Lickard, he's got blue hair in the game, so I never understood why he was blonde in all pictures, and Johnny Morris, who was also the character he plays in Castlevania Portrait of Ruin on the DS. But yeah, there's different routes in this game. So he can do an high jump, so he has some high jump levels, like you go upwards and climb. Well, Johnny Morris is like a whip where he can swing, so there's a few routes you can only play with certain characters in this game, which is a nice touch. Yeah, you were surprised how late the game's hard. Also, it seems to have that weird Kanamai thing they did aside from Pro Protector on the Mega Drive, where you had to play on the hardest difficulty to get the complete ending. Yeah. Also, this game acts as a password system, but the password system's kind of useless. Because it just, yeah. It remembers how many lives you've got left, so if you only have a single life left by the time you get to a level, you input the password system again, you'll start that game every time with a single life left, so it's kind of a bit useless. Yeah, so otherwise than that, yeah, it's a good game in the series, and most people don't seem to talk about it, they just ignore this one exists, but this is the very first one in the series I ever played, just like Pro Protector was the very first Contra game I ever played. Because I didn't have a Nintendo system, so yeah, I was really happy when these got released on. Mega Drive, so. Right, so number number 6. This had to be on the list. It's Thunder Force 4. One of the best shooters on the system, if you ask me. Great graphics, really detailed graphics, especially for the game only came out in '93, so the machine were in its midlife range of this kid. Great graphics, a ton of bosses. There's so many bosses in this game. Actually, it didn't come in '92. Crazy. There's some of the best music, some amazing music on this game. Level 8 music in this called Mail Squad is like the best music ever for any stage of any game. You know, it's so awesome. I don't even actually have boss music that I like to do with the previous ones. Pretty long game as well. I admit I've never completed the game legit though. Well, I've done it using the sort of cheat the game has. Basically, the option menu's hidden in the game, but if you activate it, I think you just press all the buttons and start. It's not difficult. If you change your lives to 0, you start with 99 per credit. I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but yeah, it's a strange thing. But yeah, this is one of the best shooters on the system, if you ask me. Oh, I live in America where it's called Lightning Force because for some reason changing the name made too much sense. Yeah, love this game, played a crap ton of it. Oh, because I even got the original price sticker I paid for it, I know, years ago, £22.99. Yep, great game. Right, so this one's a bit more obscure compared to some of the other ones. It's Biohazard Battle. I suppose not many people have played this one. But yeah, this is yet another space shooter. It's one of the first space shooters I ever bought. I didn't even know what it was when I bought it. I got this at Asda. Well, once. But yeah. The interesting thing about Biohazard Battle is it's about a giant war that made all that things mutate on a planet. And you actually play as living ships in the game, and you can see there's lots of like aliens. Interesting, of all 3 M screens are all from stage 3. An interesting game that Sega developed that they never made a sequel to, which is a shame. I'd like to see what they do with a sequel. It's got very strange music. It's like very alien and odd sounding, but it fits the game perfectly. And one of the more interesting things about this game is it's 2 players. Normally space shooters on the system was 2 players, but this one you play 2 players at once. And it has kind of a weird power-up system. Basically, there's 2 different types of power-ups for power-up effects for each thing, but certain characters have different ones than others. So yeah, you can play 2 players simultaneously, and if one player dies, you can press start and stay on their lines and come other players' lines and come back on again. Yeah, this is also one of these games that you cannot beat the game on easy. If you try beating the game on easy, it goes, you must play on normal to complete it. But if you use the level select code, where you just, I think you just keep hold of C and just rotate the D-pad like that, you can play the last few levels on easy, so yeah. So you can actually beat the game on easy, you just put cheat code in if you want to play past stage 5, which is actually that boss. That's the boss of stage 5, that giant eel that shoot lasers. Yep. Interesting game with some very strange looking enemies, and good game that's not kind of overlooked. Right, so the next one, and this is a pretty late one in the city. Yeah, Alien Soldier. Now, I remember the first time I ever played this, they actually rented it from the Choices near us, and they actually put it down at a cheaper price than the older rentals. They were brand new for some reason, which they never did with the other games. But yeah, I got this at Christmas, probably in 1995. So this was one of the last games on the system I'd probably got when I was new. Yeah, but this is a great game. Very hard game though. This is an action game basically, and the game's nothing. It's got some really crazy, awesome looking aliens in it, but this game is literally nothing but boss fights, almost. You basically just run through a level, fight a boss. There's quite a few moves in it, you really have to learn to get good at this game. This is a tough game. I've never beaten it, I could never get past level 20 on the game. Yes, that's about 24 levels in it, and each with their own unique bosses. Just think about that for a second. Most modern games cannot manage that for the sake of it without repeating bosses like 5 times. Absolutely crazy game by Treasure. Unfortunately, it's not a cheap game these days. It's pretty rare. Also, it's never sold in America due to Sega's own stupidity. Oh look, it's actually set in the year 2015. It's set this year. But yeah. Alien Soldiers, a great game. I'd recommend playing it if you can find a way, but obviously if you can't afford a cartridge, that's okay because it's pretty expensive. Great game, great boss fights, music, another classic by Treasure. Right, the third one now, some people consider this cheating, but I don't consider cheating. It's Sonic 3 with Sonic and Knuckles. Let's say, well, that's 2 games. Well, it's not 2 games because Sonic 3 in the level select code has two stages that in it that are clearly Sonic and Knuckles stages, but they get activated because this is because the game was rushed. Well, not rushed, didn't have time to fully finish it on time for Christmas. Well, like games like Sonic 06, this game still worked properly. Wasn't a piece of buggy crap. So yeah, basically Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles is a real way to play the game. It's the entire game. And probably the longest 2D Sonic game out there with like over 12 levels to go through. And you have 3 characters. It's also the only Sonic game to have Hyper Sonic in it, and Hyper Knuckles and Hyper Tails. And Super Tails and Super Knuckles. Sega basically got rid of Super Tails and Super Knuckles and Hyper ones altogether. But yeah, I still think this is one of the best 2D Sonic platform games. Now, if it was counting Mega CD games, I'd have put Sonic CD over it, but that's not a Megadrive game, is it? So it doesn't count. I'm not allowed to put that in the list. So yeah, Sonic 3 with Sonic and Knuckles, still one of Sega's best 2D Sonic platform games in my opinion. You can even find ROMs of it on the internet of them combined together now. Not Sega never did that in any of the real collections because Sega are weird. Right. Number 2. No surprise here. Yep, Streets of Rage 2. Yeah, if this isn't in anyone's top list, well, I'm pretty sure this will be most people's top list of games actually. Streets of Rage 2. Yep, one of the best beat-em-ups ever made. I remember getting the very first Streets of Rage with Megadrive. And this sequel completely blew the original out the water. I mean, there's probably like a perfect sequel on, pretty much. There's not one thing that did wrong with this sequel at all. Vastly improved graphics, still got great music, gameplay's great. Still one of the best beat 'em up games ever made to this day. Really, you need to play Streets of Rage. If you don't play any of them, because of this game, probably beat 'em ups is one of my favourite genres out there. So yeah, Streets of Rage 2. I'm sure most people know this game's amazing, and yeah. And number 1, well, it was no contest. It had to be Gunstar Heroes. Still one of the best action games ever made. I don't know why people bash this cover saying it's rubbish. I mean, I don't understand that. I don't think there's anything bad about the cover. That's what the characters look like in the actual game, so yeah. Yeah, Gunstar Heroes. And there's the guy looks like M. Bison. It's not M. Bison, but yeah, anyone who's played Gunstar Heroes it's a crazy game by Treasure, and it was the very first game they ever made. I think there was actually a team that previously worked with Konami on games like Contra, which shows, because this game is one of the best action games ever made, in my opinion. It's got so much stuff to do in it. It's not a very long game, but it's not exactly short even for what it is. Lots of variety, tons of bosses, nice graphics, great music, full of some amazing, great effects for the system, and there's really interesting ideas in it, like the stage, like a board game. You roll a dice and you fight, and you land on certain squares. It's a pretty unique idea, never been done that much since. It does have a sequel in the Game Boy Advance. Well, I say sequel, it's more like a remake. It does change a few things. It's got nicer graphics, and it's still one of the best action games on that system. But it's not as good as this one. Yeah, Gunstar Heroes is definitely one of the best action games ever made, and it's crazy to think it was the developer's first real game. Yeah. So that's all of them. Thank you for watching.